Greetings again everyone, and in the test lab today are a set of new, affordable Cine lenses from 7Artisans, their Hope T2.1 Super 35 Cine range. They can be bought separately from between £450 to £350 each, or $490 to $370 US, or they can be bought in various sets. The set of all 6 comes in a slightly rudimentary carry case and will cost you $2,200 US, saving you about $160. They come in black or silver and in 10, 16, 25, 35, 50 and 85mm models, and today I'm going to be testing out the 3 longest lenses together, the 35, the 50 and the 85. Here they are within that box with all their helpful slip-on numbered lens caps. That's actually very useful. They are currently available for Sony E, Fuji X, Canon RF and Micro Four Thirds mirrorless camera systems, and as Super 35mm lenses, they are meant to only really offer an aps-c image circle. However, on full-frame cameras, these 3 longer lenses actually offer very good coverage. Here's the 35mm lens on full frame, here's the 50, and here's the 85. So that's good coverage on full frame, although not quite full coverage, and you will be seeing a lot of vignetting. And here's some footage from them when shooting in crop mode for you to get an idea of their field of view here, and to get an idea of their depth of field ability at T2.1. In my experience, low-budget Cine lenses can have questionable quality, but I've heard good things about these lenses so far, so let's take a look. I'd like to thank 7Artisans for sending me these lenses for evaluation, although as usual, this is a totally independent review. As usual for Cine lenses, the build quality of these things is wonderful, metallic, tough and tightly assembled, and slightly heavy at between 600 to 800 grams each. They don't appear to be weather sealed though. They are attractively and clearly designed with bright orange markings that glow under UV lighting. The rear aperture rings are geared and turn very smoothly, although I do wish their f-stops were spaced evenly. The iris mechanisms of each of these 3 lenses have 10 blades to them. Their focus rings turn 260 degrees for plenty of precision, and their focus rings are all geared up to match positions, so you can easily swap through your follow focus gear. They turn extremely smoothly and offer distance markings in both meters and feet, visible from the left side of the lenses. Here you can see that the 35mm lens does not suffer from any real focus breathing. The 50mm lens may be just a little, and the 85mm lens sees the most focus breathing of the set of 6, although it's still relatively under control. The lenses come with slip-on caps which manage to stay on fairly well, thankfully, and each of them have 77mm filter threads on the front. They do not come with lens hoods, unfortunately, and as I mentioned, they are totally manual lenses with no electronics inside them at all. But their build quality is really quite lovely here, and I imagine those who like shooting with Cine lenses will be quite satisfied. Alright then, image quality. I'll be testing them today on a 24MP aps-c Sony camera. No in-camera corrections are available with these lenses. At T2.1, all 3 lenses offer plenty of sharpness in the middle of their images and tons of contrast. Over in the image corners, the good news is that great sharpness continues. What a lovely consistent performance, although the 50mm lens is seeing some chromatic aberration on display here. Stop down to T2.8 and the lenses see just a touch of extra brightness in their corners, but no other real improvements. The lenses stay this sharp down to T11, although at T16 we see some softness emerging due to diffraction. Overall though, a really impressive and nicely consistent performance from these 3 optics. They offer plenty of sharpness and contrast here, more than enough resolution for 4 and even 6K video work. Let's take a look at distortion and vignetting now. It's generally good news here too. The 35mm shows negligible barrel distortion and only a little vignetting. Stop down to T2.8 for the corners to brighten up a little. The 50mm lens shows a great performance straight from T2.1, although again with just an edge of barrel distortion here. The 85mm lens shows no real distortion, but a little vignetting at T2.1. Stop down to T2.8 or T4 to see that cleared up. Let's take a look at close-up image quality now. The 35mm lens fares the worst here, with contrast bottoming out at T2.1. The 50mm lens is very sharp at T2.1 though, and the 85mm lens quite sharp. Stop down to T2.8 and the 35 and 85mm lenses improve a little, but it's only really when stopped down to T4 that they catch up with the excellent close-up image quality of the 50mm lens. Now, let's see how the lenses perform against bright light. The 35 and 50mm lenses show a similar performance. They do show some flaring here, but it's fairly translucent and contrast remains high. The 85mm lens suffers from stronger flaring. And finally, bokeh. Well, what do you think? To my eyes, each of them have very smooth quality bokeh. Their backgrounds look nice and soft here, and I didn't notice any serious problems with any of them during testing. Their backgrounds are a little softer than the wider angle lenses I tested in my previous video. Overall, well, like their wider angle counterparts, these three Cine lenses are very well built, with very sharp image quality even when shooting close up, offer a decent bright maximum aperture, and render out of focus backgrounds quite smoothly. They have low focus breathing, high contrast, and seemingly neutral colours. That's pretty much what you're looking for from a Cine lens, to be honest. None of them are perfect lenses. They each have a little optical niggle somewhere in there, but their prices are perfectly reasonable. You can get even cheaper Cine lenses than this, and sometimes with brighter apertures, but which don't offer the same quality. So I can quite happily recommend these things for anyone on the market for Cine optics at a decent price. Thanks for watching everyone. I hope you find these reviews helpful. I love doing all this testing to discover what these lenses can really do. There are over 800 standardized tests on my channel now, all arranged into helpful playlists. It takes a lot of time and work to keep things going here, so if you'd like to support this channel, check out my Patreon page down in the description below, where supporters get all kinds of exclusive bonus content and early access to reviews. Ciao for now, everyone.